Can you believe it? It's been 25 years already. 25 years since we were first introduced to Simba, Mufasa, and Scar. 25 years since you shed tears at the sight of an imaginary dead lion. Face it, folks, we are all getting old. Feeling depressed yet? Don't worry, I can wait for a moment and let that sink in. Yes, we have puns. Calm down, folks. No need to fall into an existential crisis. Just think of it as a way to revisit your favorite childhood memories because all of our favorite characters are returning to the screen, baby, and that too in a live action adaptation. Okay, it's heavy on CGI, but still, talk about nostalgia and circles of life. Things are coming full circle. The full circle of life, yo. Lion King was a 30-second animated movie produced by Disney at a time that is now referred to as the Disney Renaissance. This period also included classics like The Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, and Hercules. Wow, they're on a remake spree, aren't they? The film was released on June 24, 1994 and has since then been hailed as one of Disney's best offerings. Some have even compared it to Hamlet. Okay, maybe that's a bit much. The songs, the animation, and the story are all amazing. And we can all be rest assured that the remake has some big shoes to fill. The good folks at Nerditainment feel that the remake will be just fine as long as it follows the original's lead. We are especially looking forward to seeing the following iconic moments in the live-action remake. Number 1. The Circle of Life. The sun rises over a kingdom as all of the subjects gather around to meet with the son of King Mufasa and Queen Saraba for the first time. Also, let's admit it, this scene would be incomplete without Elton John's iconic Circle of Life. The scene sets the tone for the film and gets you ready for what's to follow. You are introduced to the kingdom and all the animals that reside within. The Pride Lands are home to animals of different sizes, all of whom are gathering together in a congregation. Kind of like how all of us have to rush to our offices early in the morning because, modern slavery. You also get to meet the principal characters and learn about the Pride Lands. James Earl Jones as Mufasa teaches Simba what it means to be a ruler, and you hold on to every single word that he says. You even forget that this guy voiced a very different kind of father figure in the Star Wars. And of course, there is a classic scene where Rafiki raises Simba and introduces the rest of the kingdom to their their future king. Number 2. The Stampede. Long live the king. It's amazing what kind of impact just 4 simple words can have. After the Circle of Life, this is perhaps the most memorable moment from the movie, and rightly so. It's the kind of scene that makes even adults cry. It's also a scene that establishes Scar as Blofeld himself and not in an endearingly goofy way. You thought other Disney villains like Cinderella's stepmother were bad? Well, Scar is a diabolical villain who is willing to sacrifice the life of his brother, nephew, and several others just to sit on the throne. The scene is also memorable because of how it toys with your emotions. Initially, the audience is placed in Simba's shoes as he tries desperately to outrun the stampede. You breathe a sigh of relief when Mufasa rescues Simba and manages to find a way out of the stampede. But all of that hope is snatched or clawed away from you when Scar reveals his true colors and lets an exhausted Mufasa fall to his demise. But that's not even the worst part. Scar, being the mastermind that he is not just contained with killing Simba. He instead twists the young cub's persona. Not to mention shacks up with his mother and traumatizes him for years. This kid has already seen his father being killed in a stampede. Whoa, and you thought your relatives were bad. Number 3. Remember who you are. So remember, this is the 90s, the era of grunge music. Hence, it's reasonable to expect at least a small degree of sulking and angst. However, it's a classic movie, so The Lion King gets a pass in this case. We already talked about how Simba has been traumatized by events of his childhood. He does find some solace in the company of Timon and Pumbaa, but shakes from responsibility when he is discovered by Nala, who asks him to come back and save his people. Nope, Simba belongs to Generation X. He has got some moping to do first. That's probably what Simba would have ended up doing had it not been for Rafiki. The monkey beats some sense into him and acts as a spiritual guide, almost akin to Gandalf or Master Oogway. He helps Simba rediscover who he truly is. How does he do that? Well, simple. He kind of tricks a traumatized young lion into believing that he has interacted with the ghost of his long dead father. See, we said that the story was Shakespearean, and Simba doesn't even go insane by the end of it. Number 4. Hakuna Matata. A child just lost his father. His uncle is a douchebag, and for all intents and purposes, this kid is alone in this cruel world. How does one cope with a situation like that? Simple, he tags along with a bunch of outcasts and starts living a carefree life under the philosophy of Hakuna Matata. Hakuna Matata means no worries. Just think along the lines of YOLO. Yeah, we know it's overused. Simba spends his years of adolescence in the company of a bohemian gay couple, and you can imagine how he turns out as a result. But hey, no judgment. After all, Hakuna Matata is one of the most popular tracks in the movie, and Simba eventually finds his way to the right path, right? All's well that ends well. Number 5. The king reclaims his throne. The heir to the throne returns to finally reclaim what truly belongs to him. How many times have you heard that now? Well, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And boy, in the case of Lion King, there's absolutely no other way in which the story could have ended. It's a classic good versus evil tale. However, in this case, we get a few additional teaspoons of evil. After all, it's Scar. The lion would put Thanos to shame with his wretchedness. He feigns cowardice, tries to shift the blame on his associates, and then tries to backstab Simba. That is why it's so satisfying to see Scar pay the price of his deeds at the end of the film. Once the dust has settled and the bad guy has been defeated, we finally see Simba take back his throne. The film concludes the way it started, with the circle of life sequence. Bottom line, do not trust your family members. Do you agree with our list? Do you think the new Lion King does justice to the source material? Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to Nerditainment for more.